Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, with this episode of a certain magical index, I am pretty convinced that sooner or later we are going to just see Index do something kind of ridiculous. Um, I mean, and by ridiculous, I mean maybe someone messing with her again, like we saw the very first time when, everything went wrong. Something along those lines, because for some reason she has not been that relevant to actually show up amongst the story as of lately. So to have her now and this being one of the biggest, like, craziest stuff popping off right now feels like it's done on purpose, you know? Like, it feels like out of all the moments they could have picked for her to show up, this one, with how much is going on, is pretty crazy. So, um, let me get into what I mean by that. With all the things that we know, with all these characters that are here right now, we have one of the right seats, or like the seats of gods that are some of the most dangerous people that we have been introduced to this whole entire season, let alone probably series. Um, and simply by seeing, like their power, they easily go and show us someone that is on toe, if not stronger, with this man who is working for one of the princesses. And the reason why I say that it's crazy to think that they're even doing stuff like this is because um, the power that we were like shown in those episodes, it was clear to me that if anybody was rivaling them, they were like relatively strong people. And if you can, go against them and beat them, like that is absolutely nuts. So we find out just where, some of these characters actually stand, and one of them standing much lower than I actually expected them to be, and that being one of the saints who we saw show up and actually fight one of the seats. She also just gets bodied by this guy that is working for the third princess. Not even nearly as close as a matchup as the right seat. So that's what I mean by this show giving us much more, even more powerful enemies. And I mean, Index was literally right next to those two. So she was in the most danger out of everybody, and seemingly they know just what she brings to the table. So it wasn't a problem. And the fact of like keeping her alive or not, just in general not going against her. So that was all right. I understood that she definitely is a better key source of like information, and she's a better key source of just having whatever in her head slash whatever her whatever she's worth to other people in your own pocket. So I I don't think they would have killed her just unnecessarily, but at the same time, if she got in the way, or she said if she went against France or didn't work with France or something, she would have straight up bodied her, So no one's really safe, and I like that aspect about the show. They always kind of go with that route. Not to mention, Toma pretty much got the A-OK to abandon somebody during the mission, like his teammate, and go on and try to push a little bit closer while one teammate was handling something else in the city with a sorcerer who we know that can go pretty crazy and just start destroying everything in sight. Um, but yeah, with that happening and Toma going on to this like push, he ends up on a train and pretty much finds another member of the new lights, or the terrorist group that pretty much was the whole reason why they were put out to do what they were doing, like in the search of them. And now all of a sudden, they becoming like useless to the main person who was actually hiring them, or actually giving them their information to do what they did. With them being out of business together, the Knights had already caught one of them and like pretty much handcuffed her and put her in magical things where she can't use her magic to escape. We are slowly but surely seeing the growth of the army of Toma, and I mean, we've been seeing this for a while, but right now it's probably at its like greatest, or like it's at its biggest like growth, because I'm just saying that in the sense of power. I'm saying that in the sense of like who actually is joining and stuff, because no way are these girls like weak at all. Like these girls, not only do they have interesting abilities, they also like trust in one another to get certain aspects of their jobs done. So I think that was a really good way to give Toma some really like fast learning and trusting people that trust, like they trust each other enough. And I'm guessing once they find out that how much trouble he put himself to get one of them out of everything, which it doesn't even seem like that needs to be the case for this one that he's hanging out with now, seeing how he might be able to do something in the terms of, fighting and helping them both achieve their goals, their ultimate goals of probably defeating somebody that betrayed them or something. So, with all that being said, I honestly don't know where they're going to take the series, in the sense of they could easily do something along the lines of, making these girls betray Toma at the very end, because they think, some of them think that they're not against, been being manipulated, or some of them do know, and they like battle each other. There's a lot of ways they can play on with these groups, because he has two of them. He's making friends with two of them on his side at his own pace, at his own speed. So if he could do that and it actually works out, they might just actually stand up and fight for him instead of against him. So that is really what I see being possible. I'm not sure if it will happen or where this is actually going. I just like the idea of all that happening. But the main juicy stuff of this week's episode, man, was just huge fight with the right seat or the left. I forget which seat. I'm pretty sure he's the left seat. The left seat going against the knight, who's, I guess, whenever he's on his home turf, he's just stupid powerful. So I'm guessing they're gonna keep him alive in this arc, or they're gonna keep him alive. Like, I don't think the princess is gonna die either. But if they do, that'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, I think they're gonna keep him alive, and after keeping him alive and just seeing how powerful he is on his own turf, I think someone's gonna jump on his turf and absolutely wreck him and get a like a better scaling than he has. That's just my thought process with shows nowadays. Like, you don't tell us the main like downfall of your ability, as well as your main reason why you're strong, so quickly, including unless you're gonna die soon, and we gotta like understand why you're even giving someone who has like the rights of God, you know, or a man he's been training like nonstop, probably just by the way he acts and the way he fights and the way he notices things in a fight. Um, it shows you that he's just very experienced in combat. So, in my opinion, to think that he doesn't train day in day out, you couldn't go against my point, because of just how he is in general. He really doesn't have long conversation. He really doesn't care to talk to people. But there's a dang sword so big that he can still wield it dang there with one hand, and it's the size of like two humans' torsos, you know? So clearly his body is conditioned, or unless they already said, or they're going to say, um, the weapon that he uses chooses him, and because of that, it's lighter than a feather or lighter than two pillows, something like that, which would nullify my idea of why he's so strong. But at the same time, I'm hoping that it does touch into it, because I don't think he was that position all the time. and he was still greater than this guy who was a knight who was working, for this princess and stuff. I think all of his life, and this guy was just a mercenary hired to make sure that everything went well. So we got a guy who trains his life to protect the princess, and someone who just trains to fight wars and fight whatever battle he is hired for. So that's also why I think he would have more time to train, because he has to fight every single person that he's hired against, unlike someone who just has to fight the battles of a princess that is in danger or something along those lines. So this battle, man, it looked like some lightsabers. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely looked like some Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker, or some Kylo Ren versus or not versus, but Kylo Ren with Rey versus the Empire, whatever, man, versus Snoke. Like, this literally was just a red and a blue sword going at it. And I was like, this has got to be the closest thing I'm getting to Star Wars today. Today. Because I don't want to put it across any other animes or any other shows I might watch that might just be influenced by Star Wars. There's a lot of shows out there that could be influenced by it. Who knows? It's kind of popular. But with that, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Seeing these guys go in, and not only that, seeing just the betrayal between like all these princesses, and the previews of the one princess who's like the most sweethearted supposedly, and like she just got saved by the guy who shows up late and stuff. She seemingly looks very, very scary in the previews, when she's pretty much had her life saved and she's been sent here, and then she's in the mindset of, oh man, I might not even like me being saved still might not even save me, type of deal. And by seeing her face in the preview, just like serious and like actually kind of just mad, like she just wants to go at someone's neck, man. I thought that was a really good indication that we're about to see some hype stuff pop off. I mean, and it was a golem, so it could be the sorceress that like gets to her somehow in the tunnels. I'm not sure. So I can't wait to see next week's episode already. I hope you guys do it too as well. I am the Anime G. If you guys wouldn't mind dropping a like and subscribing if you want more from me. But if you share the video, get it around, it definitely will help out the channel, and maybe we can get some more people to talk to and have a full-blown conversation about different animes that other people might know more than even I do, or more than of the source material from the manga and stuff like that. I love hearing what you guys have to say about anime, and I read all the comments. It's just I don't reply to ones that are just trying to talk trash to me. I mean, if you honestly have criticism that I can improve on, or that you think I can improve on, I definitely will listen to it and even reply. But when it's just negative stuff, there's no reason to give into that stuff. I mean, if you want my negativity back at you that bad, then you got the wrong person. Like, I got enough stuff to put my negativity towards, so sorry, you ain't getting it. But with that, my anime people, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case it may be, and I will talk to you in the next one. And all the new people, if you do choose to join up with your boy, the Anime G, I will also see you in the next one. So with that, take care and peace. Let me destroy this monster real quick. No peace for him. Bunkai.